So yes, to fetch the rows from data extensions and to perform select operations, and you can see here in the automation studio, you can create an automation which is SQL based, and then you can add your SQL query into that. This is the one. And when you add it, you can definitely select a data extension once you query it. So I actually have, but I'm not able to move these to the remote desktop. Gmail is not working. So these, I'll send you on chat as well. These, they have some sample tables, and this is the diagram for that, which I've sent you. So these are the similar Excel sheet tables, and this diagram highlights the mapping between them and how it feels, what they interrelated. So while creating the SQL query automation studio, you can use this type of structure on any existing structure. This is just an example to get started. And in SQL, while creating the query, you can use mainly use select. So they don't support update and delete clauses. We have a workaround for that. And I'll also send you a PDF which has all the SQL details. To check out that. So basic operations, starting with basic operations like selecting all the rows columns, selecting selective columns, selective rows, and then basic sorting, and then join between the tables, where clause, or in. All this is supported. For insertion and deletion, we have some workaround which is not directly supported in SFMC. And yeah, so we can check this out. I'll forward you this PDF as well at the end of this. And so meanwhile, you can also uh, import these Excels, Khushbu, as you have the org. I'll try to talk to Alok. How can I transfer this to the remote desktop here? Right. I tried opening the Gmail here and transferring with my Gmail. It is not allowing me to open the Gmail. See.
Yeah.
So
Do you want me to share my screen and you want to write in my sandbox something?
do that as well. And so the thing is,
Hmm.
these are all the Excel sheets which have the data as well. You see,
Hmm.
and this is the structure. This is just for practice. Okay.
Hmm.
This is how they are related in one of the examples, right? So the customer ID is common in first two, then you have invoice ID and you have invoice detail ID, right? So this is how they are interrelated. So we can perform some queries, use joins just for our practice. And so if you have any existing data structure as well, we can do that on that as well. No problem. But I fetched out this just for the practice purpose. And this is the basic language guide. Okay. So all these things are just to get you started. This, see, you can see this has the sample rows in it. But before we start, we need some preparation. Which I could not do because I could not transfer it to remote desktop. Preparation, like, you agree?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, that we have.
Then after that?
Then after that, in the automation studio, we
Mm-hmm.
automation query.
Yeah, right.
And inside that, when you go inside that,
Hmm.
you can write a SQL. Right now, when moving it, it is not getting moved. It is inserted here, and so you can do one thing. I'll give you all this material. You can import that into the data extensions, and then we can do it in a sandbox. Maybe in next session, if not today. No problem.
Hmm.
You can take Santosh with you as well.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Try to create SQL in activities so that we can able to do.
yeah, try to create
No, SQL in activities we can create or in automation studio.
an activity only.
Okay. No. First we need to create SQL, right? Then only we can able to add here, right? In the automation.
Wait, now
I think in schedule, yeah, right. You have put schedule now. SQL will come on the right side, no?
Second floor. You
Second,
try
right?
to.
Yeah, I did this recently. Now we
we have named it as SQL query.
Okay.
Now, anyway, if you go ahead and choose this, it will allow you to choose the. You can create a new SQL activity here on the top. And all these are the existing SQL activities, correct?
Yeah. Okay.
Creating new SQL activity is nothing but you have these four properties,
Okay.
and it's like uh, four different tools. All have the access to data sources, right? So once you import all these Excels, then create a separate folder for that, and you can use that data. It will have both the things, right? Table, rows, columns, and data, everything, right? So and based on that, we can create a the SQL activity and write queries based on that.
this query is same as AMP script, right? Same logic, else, if, join.
Yes, yes, yes. So the whole idea is segmentation. You can use to filter the data before sending out any action, like before sending out an email. If you want to send it to specific users, right? For whose age is more than 30 and all those things, whose birthday is on this date, right? All these kind of selection and segmentation of subscribers based on attributes is possible, and because it gives you a lot of clauses uh, which are there in the PDF. We go through the PDF as well, which are options are available, if, else, and everything.
Uh, I'll tell you what, we have a marketing cloud consultant, right? So what she did is when we send out a campaign, usually we only have the email address, right? So when we import the data, we have email ID and we make it, well when we create, we start with creating a staging DE. So
Uh,
in that, we use subscriber key as email ID, right? So once the data is imported, then we have to, come here, run this automation, create another data extension as
Mhm.
audience GE, and then you know there's some logic there which checks if the email ID is there, if not there, and then it checks for the CRM ID. So if there is a CRM ID, which means it will have an existing subscriber key. So
Yeah,
that way we create another, DE. So subscriber key becomes the default subscriber key. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So basic commands are very easily available, like selecting the data and if else clauses, like you just said. And what you have to do is, let's say I'm targeting this data extension, contact journey, right? I just drag this on the right hand side, and all the columns are here, right? Correct. And according to the data that you have it available here, you can mark a query. Let us check the rows in this data extension. And let's see what we can query. So it's all about drag and drop. And once you drag and drop, all the columns are available here. While it gets loaded, uh, once you have applied the select, you can select it from where you're selecting it. Oh, wait. From this table, right? This table means data extension. Contact table is usually given like this. Contact journey. This way. So these are the fields we are going to be selecting from this table, right? Table means data extension, and it is usually in a square brackets. You have a validate syntax button here. Usually it gives up a warning like there is no way, a where clause, and all these things. And just validate. You see now, use a where clause, right? So you have not used a where clause. Where clause, it's just a warning, right? So what where clause does it will filter you the data. Since you have not used it, it will return all the rows. Okay. So that is what it is trying to say. You have this validate syntax which you can very easily use once you have written the query. So it is has two reports here. We can easily apply a where clause here after from, right? Where first city is equal to Delhi, right? You understand that?
Yeah,
And
university.
any column you can apply a where clause depending upon which you want to which data you want to select, right? So usually what happens is whenever you're creating a SQL query, new activity, uh, there are two things here, query and then the target data extension. So what should be the target data extension? Target data extension means where you pushing the data, right? And so once you have selected the data here in the query, right? You have selected all the rows, uh, records, all the columns from this particular data extension. Where will that data go, right? It will go somewhere. You will push it somewhere, right? And below there are three buttons, right? And so you can choose that depending upon your need.
What are they exactly, like how, what?
Exactly there, like let's say if you already have in targeted distinction, if you already have a similar row, if you
Hmm.
want to override it or update it or just append it at the end. So this new data, which is your which is a part of your query, they're self-explanatory also. If you read them, what they have written is a small description of those radio buttons. And if there is no data, it will only append it. It will not check for it. And update is when there is a matching data, it will only match for the primary key, right? And if it is found, then it will not add it. If a record is not found, then it will add a new row. If a record is not found, then it will add a. So it all these features, whenever you're pushing the data, they're part of every framework or tool. It always asks you whether you want to override or whether you want to update, right?
So
Whenever
yeah. So first action is append, add new data to your target. So only new data will get added. So does that mean there could be duplicates in the same file?
yes, yes, in order to avoid
Hmm.
duplicates.
Okay, so there could be duplicates. Okay. And update is, yeah, either it will update the existing data or add new. This is understood. If there's nothing, it will add. Otherwise, the same record will get updated. And overwrite is there is an existing data. Irrespective, it will just overwrite everything. So
Yes,
it means it is as good as new.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So uh, you can think of some scenarios where you want to use this, like append. Let's say first one
Hmm.
is like if you so you are working on subscribers in your site
Hmm.
and you add today's new subscribers to a data extension,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And so today the subscribers, uh, it is already having last week's subscribers. So you want
Hmm.
to check if there are any duplicates, right? You will not keep on adding again and again. For
Hmm.
example, Kushbu comes again and subscribes
Hmm.
today. And next week also Kushbu is coming and then again subscribing, right?
Hmm.
So you won't enter two rows, three rows, four rows. Every time Kushbu comes in,
Hmm.
a new row for Kushbu. Does not make sense, right?
Hmm.
It will create a lot of data redundancy and duplicacy, right?
Hmm.
You understand?
Okay, so
All
only new
this
data will
is
get
just
added. Right.
so think of it as a filtering mechanism of platform, right?
Hmm.
Which allows you to have proper data, which is not duplicated. And based on that data only, you're doing everything, right? You're
Hmm.
using data extensions in the journey builder. And so let's say you have five duplicate rows, 10 duplicate rows, right? So that
Hmm.
journey, that particular journey, whichever journey is using this data extension, will run those extra times, right?
Yeah.
it will be an unnecessary load on the platform. It will impact your performance. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this will only. Yeah.
Okay. So what I understand, just reiterating, append means, for example, I have already subscribed, and the record is already existing in that data extension. If there's another submission, for example, it is a form or anything, it will not get added and it will not get updated. New Only new data will get added, but the existing will not get updated. If we want to update, then we have to select the second option,
Yes.
update.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So all that depends on your use case.
Hmm.
Uh, if you want that every time, let's say there is a sale going on and some kind of activity, and if you don't want to lose any customer, you're okay with key, like, let us enter for this 1 hour, whatever data comes up, let us enter that. We'll filter out later on. Okay.
Hmm.
Then you can use update, no problem. And mainly with override is it will delete the data first and then insert the results of SQL query fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe this would be a good case for, where you just create one data extension and you're just overriding, reusing the same data extension again and again. And you don't need the previous data. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
So append is basically when you add the results of query, right, without touching the existing records. Think of it like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't you don't need to look at the previous insertions or
Hmm.
existing records. Okay.
Hmm.
If there is some scenario matching with this, then you choose update. Oh,
Hmm.
sorry, append, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah. And so right now we just randomly selected this, right? And we have to select a target data extension which will match this, and we can create a new which matches these fields because we are querying all the fields, right?
Hmm.
So the target data extension should have almost all of these fields, and we can create a new one. It will push that, and the primary key here is first ID. Yeah. Yeah. So some similar target data extension which will have 0 rows. What it'll do is we can do a similar exercise, like it will push the rows from this data extension to that, right? That's what we do. We're selecting all these reports and to pick up these 2 rows in the query. And because we have not applied any where clause, right?
Hmm.
It'll pick these
Yeah.
two and then it will push to our target data extension. But for that, we have to create a target data extension right now in order for that to work. Because just now, I was thinking that we'll create that same structure and then we'll practice on that. Since it is not there, let us create a target data extension which is similar to that.
Mainly using SQL for using multiple data extension, right? Or
Yes,
what is
yes.
the use case?
No, we can use for multiple. So that is what the idea here is. If you look at this diagram, so all the tables, they are data extension, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Think of these as separate data extensions. This is number one. This is SQL customer number two. This is number three, right? Number four, number five, six, seven, and they are interrelated.
Yeah. For this, we can't able to use the data filter. That's why we're going for SQL.
Come again?
This type of scenario we can't able to use data filter, right? That's why we are going for SQL. Or we can able to make it in data filter also.
Data filter means which scenario?
I'm asking, see, there is a n number of data extension, right?
Hmm.
See, almost seven data extension. Using these data extension, we can't able to use in the data filter, right? Making if you want to use seven data filters in the seven data extension in same data filter, we can't able to use, right? That's why we are going for SQL.
Which data
Yes.
filter are you saying here?
No, I'm asking we can able to create the data filter with using multiple data extension.
Data filter in which part of the platform? In query?
Yeah, query.
No,
See,
query.
mainly why we are using going for SQL query.
SQL query because the way data is saved here, it's just like a Oracle database, relational database, right?
Yeah.
SQL makes it easier to fetch and easier to join as well.
So we have already data extension,
You,
data filter, right? That's why we are going for the SQL. That's just a question I need to know. That's what.
so platform has given all the features to query. In filters, we can use SQL. In SQL, we can use multiple data extension and which will help us to query more than one data extensions, right? That you will see in the join section, and it allows you to have flexibility and segmentation. Like, let's say you want to target the customers in last 30 days who live in New York and who opened an email last week. So these three conditions at one go.
Yeah. Okay.
Those three conditions, they can be in two data extensions, they can be in three data extensions. So you can write a complex query and uh, fetch that data and give it to journey builder, right? It will use that data for its own personalization or maybe sending emails or whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
So, and another thing is combining the data, which helps, which is done using joins, SQL joins, and it lets you join multiple data extensions, and you can calculate the fields as well, like uh, how many days since last purchase, uh, and you can schedule SQL queries as well. It will run daily, weekly, right? Inside the automation. There was a schedule button, right?
Yeah.
Uh, you can use that as well. So that feature is also there. So it is basically preparing the data for your journey builder.
Okay.
I have a question. So like we are running a campaign and there is a reminder email. We are not using Journey Builder. So scenario one, we are using normal, email, one-time email. So if I want to exclude people who have already opened email one, can is there any way like do we have to do it via SQL or there's some other way we can exclude those contacts, without re-importing those contacts and creating a suppression list.
Yes, we can do it using SQL. So usually what happens is uh, you have two data extensions around that this concept, email and all subscribers and email opens.
Mhm.
So email opens will track the people who have opened the email. So you already have that list in the database.
Mhm.
You can easily query that
Mhm.
using join, left join or outer join or whatever.
Mhm.
I'll show you. I'll give some queries as well,
Mhm.
and then whosoever has opened it, uh, whatever action you want to perform, you can perform. And if you want to exclude opens from a campaign,
Hmm.
then yes, you can write a SQL query. It will not be very big, like it's like 7 lines or 8 lines.
Hmm.
So it will query that field of uh, subscriber key and email address, and it will add your campaign job ID as well, and then test, then give you back the results. And so simple, but yeah, you can exclude anyone who has opened the emails using SQL, because whosoever has opened the email is already saved in the data extension. We save those data, right?
Yeah. Um, okay, so you're saying it's with SQL, and in case that is a journey, you know, there are two reminders that are to be that we will be sending out. So email one is sent out today. Reminder will go out after 2 days, for example. So again, in Journey Builder also we can do that, right? Like
Yes.
send email only to people who have not opened email.
Yes, we can do it in general as well.
That is a very simple, I mean,
Yes.
structure, but okay.
So there is in Journey Builder, there is an email open event inside
Mhm.
the journey, which you can track.
Okay, right. If they have opened the email, they'll go in the yes. If not, then they will receive the
Whatever
reminder
path
that,
you want
right?
to
Loop.
you can.
Yes. Uh-huh. Got it, got it.
So
So
in
in
the
that case, SQL query is not required. It is only required when there's, little complexity or we are using like
yeah, yeah,
two or
yeah,
more data extensions. Okay.
yes. So features are available everywhere. Depends on where you are and what is the use case, right?
Mhm. So now we will have to create a target data extension, no? And then run it.
Obviously, the target that we have created, it will not have any growth, right? Yeah, we are there. So let us see if that is visible now. Otherwise, we'll have to refresh and go back. It says valid SQL syntax, but the where clause is missing. Okay.
Like a recommendation.
Like a recommendation, like a warning, like a so all these things they are just because they want to improve the performance and they don't want to put unnecessary load, right? Which are useful, which are obviously so once you have the whole project running up, then you understand these things, right? What is performance and
Mm.
right? So it is not the sampling that we are doing is just using smaller set of data, but in real life, it's really huge, right?
Yeah.
Things can get really complex. Okay, let us go on the time. No problem. Oops. So you can, so there are three options and you can view that as well. Okay. So
Yeah.
target data extension is given. So this is just like a summary of everything what we've done till now, right? Writing the basic SQL, fetching the row from the source and putting it in the target data extension. Correct. So we are inside the automation studio and we are creating a new SQL activity. That is the position we are in inside the platform. Okay. Finish. You can save your journey, no problem. And you see the summary here, workflow activity. You can run it once as well. It will allow us to choose which all activities you want to run. So we have only one activity here. So we can go into this activity tab and you see how is it going, right? It's running right now, correct?
Yeah.
So we right now we have done run once. You can schedule it as well, right? It should run next week at this date at this time, correct?
Yeah.
So this scheduling, this is just for testing. So when I say schedule, all this comes into play whenever you have real life scenarios like there is a sale next week, there's a campaign next week, right? And it will run for next 2 days. Okay. For example, in US, you have sales like Black Friday, Halloween. You agree? Christmas sale, huh? So
Yeah.
there is a huge load at that time, and a lot of people are involved, and right. So a lot of these type of activities, personalization and targeting users, just to increase the business value or revenue, right? So they prepare for it in advance, 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 week, 1 month, in fact, yeah. And they make sure that nothing goes wrong. They keep their teams on alert, right? Let it run.
Completed.
Saying it is complete. Okay. I think we need to refresh it. Have a refresh here as well on the right hand side.
Oh,
Okay. Whenever you feel like it's not reflecting the right side, so like want to check, refresh this as well, right? Rather than doing a browser refresh here on the right hand side, okay? See now the report. Let's go.
same.
Correct. So now the target has this data, which was picked up from source using the SQL. Okay. Now you can go back to your query. You can edit it. We are editing the same activity. Okay. We are not creating a new one. So you can add where clauses here as well if you want to filter the data. Like so you see right now it is we are in target. So let us go to the source. This is also having two rows, so we just copied over everything. And now that is why those Excel comes into play. Push to do one thing. Next time when we come, you just you will have some time like in between after this session.
Mm.
Uh, so next time you import those Excels so that have a lot of rows, right? That will help us to create more complex queries using where clauses, joins, correct?
Mm.
I'll share everything, the PDF, the Excel which has data, the diagram as well. Diagram I think I've already shared. So I'll share those two things as well. That way, you can create more complex queries because you have data in place, right? Right now, if I start doing, I'll have to do add every time, right? And I'm not able to move that Excel here. I'll confirm with Alok if we can do it in some other ways. If the remote desktop is shared with the laptop, there are provisions. Like they share one folder and then you put your folder in all the files in one folder in that laptop, and then that is accessible by remote desktop. I'll see if that is possible here. So, uh, with that, we can practice more complex examples. Like using where is still simple, but where this first city equals to building. So, uh, we start with this. So this is basic. Select this from this. Where this is the first step, and
Mm.
then you have the joins section. You see here. So this is a good PDF. It will help you a lot. It will give you the overall picture. Relational is when the data is stored in tables. We have other databases as well. Right now, MongoDB is really famous. It stores in the files, but this guy, just like the Oracle database, SQL is structured query language, and these are the categories. So they are like they can be said like DML, DDL, data definition, data manipulation languages. Data definition is when you create the tables. The last you see when you drop the last two tables. And data manipulation or maintenance is like when you edit the data, correct? The middle three. So you will have details of everything inside this and how you can select the all the rows, specific columns. How we can do a sorting as well. Sorting, you understand, right?
Yeah, sure.
So sorting means arranging in the order.
Uh,
High price,
Ascending and descending.
descending, high price, low price. So usually it comes into play when you're filtering. So this will have some serious exercises as well. And refer it, no problem. I'm good. And, and specific rows, specific columns. Then it will have all these operators like just like we had in AppScript, right? I said at that time as well, every language has the operators, right? This comes the sorting. So there is this keyword distinct for the duplicate rows. While fetching or while doing a query, you don't want duplicate rows, right? First of all, you should not have it in the table as a preventive measure. Okay. And in case you're having it, then obviously you can filter it using distinct
Yes.
in SQL. So you will have the syntax. I can forward more PDFs on this, no problem. And go through this. We'll talk more in the next one. And I'll have more examples on that cloud pages as well. Last time what it is first. And what, what else? So this between it will allow you to values. It will allow you to specify a range. You got it, range, right? Age between 30 to 35, 20, right? Or and all the standard operators. Null, right? Null means missing entry in the column, right? So make sure that you understand the differences. Null is not a zero, right? Basically, it's a missing value. Nothing is there. Zero is still something, right? Okay. Pushpu, take Santosh with you and try to import these Excels which I'll be sending into the table, and we can practice this. Meanwhile, think of that cloud pages. Okay. And more topics. Hmm?
Okay. Send the Excel.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah. So this is the joint thing.
Yeah.
Join is usually when you are fetching using data from two or more tables, right? It is also giving some structures. We already have structures. So if you want, you can create a similar data extensions like this as well with this PDF or You see, it is giving an example, right? In from, you see it is entering two tables, right? Persons and job. You see this example?
Person name, job title from.
First one has 3 columns. Look at the top first, okay?
Yeah.
This one has 3 columns. Second guy, second table, second data extension has 2 columns, okay?
Mm.
And the first column in second and the third column in first is common job, right? Okay, you agree? So in the where clause, they're using that common column. Okay. And in the from, they are saying both the data extensions. Understand the basic concepts first. Okay, when it is used, and then you come to the syntax. Okay. So it is used when you're fetching data from more than 2 tables. Okay, friends.
Is it like person's job, comma title? So person's job is table 1.
Person job is yes, table 1.
Okay.
Person dot job. So if you look at the last where clause, persons dot job. Persons is the first table dot the column of the first table job equals jobs is the second or data extension table and data extension is same. Okay, jobs dot job the column of the second data extension. Correct.
Jobs job is the first column, no? SWE.
Yes, this one.
Yeah. But
Okay.
then, got
First
it.
one person's job is this one.
Yeah.
So they are just doing a query using both the data extensions. The final outcome is this guy, the third one, which has everything in it.
Since job is jobs job. Okay.
I'll share you this. Read it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The right giant there. Sorry.
Okay, guys. Anything else?
I will study.
Hmm.
I have a side question, not related to this directly, but any idea like when